And so that was our experience. You know, I definitely, cause you gotta pass it off, man. You just pass it off. That's like a punch in the face. You just don't expect it. You're just like, just to be effective in our communication. So, this is not communication, is it? That was the other video. Okay. All right.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Trinity Sierra here. If you're brand new, make sure you hit the subscribe button in the link below. Click the bell next to it so you get notified when my next video drops. If you guys already clicked on this video, you know what this is about. Me and my husband today are going to kind of do like a discussion panel type of thing with how to deal with social media and relationships. And social media, I know a lot of people like they deal with what to do when you're in a relationship and how to effectively go about, like, do I give my significant other all my passwords, or he better give me all his passwords or we breaking up. Or like sometimes it's just, I don't know what to do, so I need help. So we're going to kind of go through what we do, what we did, and how it's working now and our experience. Everyone has kind of a different relationship. Like me and Trey, I trust him 120%. Like I don't have to worry about what he's doing, even though I never actually asked for his passwords. That's very interesting. If you guys don't know, I'm a person who does not trust easily. So you have to work up my trust. It's never just given freely, like, because I've been through a lot in my lifetime that I don't trust anyone unless like they give me a reason to. And so I believe like Trey was always kind of upfront with me, and we always talked about a lot of things, so I never actually had like mistrust in him. I didn't have to worry about what is he doing at night, because if you guys do not know or did not see my previous video how we met, me and Trey were long distance and we were in entirely two different states. I was in Georgia, he was in Virginia for majority of our relationship before we had gotten married. And so now that we're together, like I guess I never actually looked back and realized I never had that I don't trust you phase with Trey. Like we just, I don't know, we kind of just are here, and I guess it's great. So what I did, like when me and Trey would deal with social media, like we just made a pact, like, hey, just make sure past a certain time you're not liking this, you're not liking that. Just to set kind of our own hearts at ease and peace, because I know past a certain time, a lot of people think, hey, like if they like my photo, you know what I mean? Like they kind of like me, or they feeling me. And so we tried to eliminate that all together. And I was like, you know, let's nip that in the bud, because I don't want to ever have to worry about some female thinking something because you did something you weren't supposed to do.
Me and Trinity really didn't have any problems with communication. I've never, you know, she never gave me a reason, and I'm opposite. She's the type who says you have to earn my trust, or I don't trust easily. I almost trust too much. So I say, I trust you until you give me a reason not to. And I believe you the first time you show me that I can't trust you, I believe you the first time. So, you know, Trinity had to lose my trust, which she never did. As far as the social media thing, like we did make that pact. And I think we were just respectful with it. Like, yeah. Don't, you know,
don't be liking nobody booty pictures. Like, what do you think this is?
Yeah, there's that aspect of it for me. But it was just the fact that, okay, she's not, you know, it's not 11 o'clock and she's liking somebody's pics, or it's not 11 o'clock and I'm liking somebody's pics. And I think, you know, you got to give each other space. For us, I think it was important for us to have space and still be ourselves, like we're grown. Yeah. And so I feel like it wasn't, you know, we weren't parental controlling each other, but we were, you know, saying, hey, out of respect, you know, I would appreciate if you didn't like after this, or hey, where do we meet in the middle? And I think, like Trinity said, every couple's different, and I think for each couple listening to this, or for a hopeful girlfriend or hopeful boyfriend, like you have to make those boundaries together. Like me and Trinity's might look different than yours might look, so just be open and honest about what you feel. If she's okay with this, but I'm not okay with that, then, you know, we scale it back and say, okay, no, 11 o'clock's too late. Like, I'd rather you just not like after 8 or after 7, or hey, I just don't want you liking anybody's pictures at all.
And
not
you gotta
anybody's,
voice that, you know.
But hey, I don't want you liking guys' pictures, or hey, I don't want you liking girls' pictures. And I think, I wouldn't suggest that, because that feels very controlling. And we got advice right before our marriage, and it was just about living in the moment and not controlling it. And I think that was some of the best advice that we ever got, just to say like enjoy your moments, and don't try to dictate what she does. If she doesn't try to dictate what I do, like, just enjoy what it is, abstractly, like just for what it is. So.
And I think like that advice really just kind of shifted me and Trey's like whole relationship, because we did not realize that before. Like, I'm very controlling. Like, I like to have my hands in everything. Like, I like to be like, okay, wait, what's going on? You know, I never had that moment to where I just sat back and relaxed. Like, you know what? I never gave it to God, honestly. Like, I just tried to just be in everything. And Trey's like, you gotta relax, Trinity. And I'm like, no, I don't have to relax. Like, I'm fine. But even with that, like, the advice we heard, like, it just changed everything for me. And I was like, you know what? Like, I am trying to be an autopilot and then also trying to hold on to the plane at the same time, and it wasn't working. And so when I ended up giving that and just letting go of my grip, like, we got 10 times better, I think, overnight, you know. And it's not an overnight process, but I felt the change, if that makes sense. And so I know in our marriage, like, it's marriage is completely different than relationships, but you still have to go by the same standards, by the same guidelines. And in marriage, like, you're not just doing whatever. Like, of course, your other partner, like, knows what you're doing, and you got to respect them in the process, so it's completely different. But at the same time, like, you do have your freedom, and Trey has his freedom, and I have my freedom. Like, we can go on our social media, and I don't have to be, like, peering over his shoulder, or, hey, like, what are you doing? I literally hold his phone, and we go through, like, each other's timelines. Like, hey, did you see something funny? And then I forget, like, his phone, and I could just keep scrolling. You know, like, that's what I do, and that's what he does. And I think it's a maturity thing, to where we're at the point where, you know, at the end of the day, like, God is watching you. He sees it all. You know, I don't have to worry about what you're doing, because I know that you're going to do right by me, because you're going to do right by our Father, if that makes sense. So I never have to worry, like, oh, well, Trey's going to have me looking some type of way, because I would have never married him if I had that feeling. The world might make you think, like, hey, I have to have their social medias and all their accounts and all their emails, but that's a whole trust issue thing. It
reveals a lot of insecurities that you have if you're that type of person. But that's just my personal opinion. And I also feel like, as far as like passwords and things like that, like to each his own. You know, some couples do that and have that freedom, but part of me still feels like that reveals an insecurity that you have, that you don't feel that I'm trustworthy enough to have my own account. And so if somebody's demanding that of you, I would say, hey, like, you know, I would call them out on that insecurity, and they're not going to like it, probably, because nobody likes to be called out on their problems. But that's something that should be faced. And for me and Trinity, the one thing that I really did like that she said was the fact that we're completely open with our timelines. If your significant other, partner, whoever is like hiding their timelines or doesn't want you to see, then I feel like that's reason for concern. Yeah. But outside of that, I feel like it should be fine. And from just a marriage point of view, I think it goes even further. Because I was doing this when we were dating, but now, like, if I am scrolling through a timeline and I follow X amount of people, and, you know, I do see, oh, people posting booty pics or something like that, like, I unfollow that account. And I do that out of respect for Trinity, because I never want to ever pull up my phone and hit Instagram and that's the first thing that comes up. Or my mom or whoever. I feel like out of respect for the women that I'm around, or my daughter. I don't want my daughter to pick up my phone and click Instagram and when she gets old enough to do that, and that's the first thing she sees. And then that raises questions as, what's dad looking at? Like, what? Why is this scrolling down his time? Right. So if I see that, I unfollow that immediately. No questions, no nothing. Like, it's just what I have to do, because I don't need to be looking at that, and I don't want anybody else to assume anything based off of that. So.
And I think, like, just hearing him say that, like, just warms my heart. It makes it so you guys can see, like, why I don't ever have a problem with that. Like, I never have to worry about Trey when I'm not with him. You know, and he never has to worry about me. Like, I can get whatever and sit in my DMs. Like, I'm not worrying about that, you know? And it's just something that, as not even if we were married, but as being in a committed relationship, there are some things that you just don't do, regardless of your significant other not having your passwords or your account information. Like, you're still your own good steward, if that makes sense. Like, you have to nurture and care for your relationship, even in the same way when no one's looking, you know? And that's, like, so important to realize that in the long run, if you're working towards getting into a relationship, then getting married, you got to go by the same things that you want in your relationship to sow and plant it and, like, nourish it so it will grow in your relationship and your marriage.
Thanks for watching.
And so,
some people do combined social media.
Joint account.
Some people do joint accounts. And I think that that's a cool way to, like, you know, it kind of neutralizes all worry and doubt. You know, if that's the route you want to take. So I know people who do that, and I think that that's, like, cool. If that works for them, like, that's perfectly fine. You know, that's my take on it. What do you think?
I think joint accounts is amazing. Like, Trey actually mentioned us doing that, and I kind of just laughed at him in the beginning.
What was the name?
Trin and Trey.
Let me know in the comments if you think that's alright. I think that's
Let
right.
us know if that's okay. I mean, I'm just not, I don't know. I was very distant from social media for a very long time, like, because I hate looking at myself, kind of, like, so, I don't know, not like that in that way, but it's just, like, the presence of, I just like to be out of the spotlight, like, in the background, which is why, like, I was hesitant starting YouTube, but now, you know, just with all the positive feedback, now I'm going full throttle. You know, I'm enjoying it, and I'm glad you guys enjoy it, but, I laughed at that because I was like, Trey, like, no one's gonna want to follow us. Like, we're not gonna do that. But if you guys let us know, like, I can definitely hook that up and make our social media right now. So let us know in the comments below, like, if you want to see that, and I will do that. If you want to do that, go ahead and do that. Like, a lot of people love relationships. I think the number one thing in America is relationships that are just in dire need for help, because a lot of relationships fail when you don't have effective communication, or if you're kind of, like, worrying about trust issues with your partner. Like, there's a lot of reasons why relationships fail.
I think this generation is the generation that can change the stipulation and ideas behind relationships. I think that this is the generation that will start younger and that will get, you know, how to be effective and how to work together, and we're coming from a generation where it's okay to be single and to be with a bunch of people and to, you know, be around, which it is. If that's what you do, then that's what you do. But I think that,
hey, we ain't mad at you dating people. Like,
hey,
it's okay to date. When you're single, it's okay to date.
Right. Do your thing. Definitely. Big time. But at the same time, like, I think we're also in a time and in a generation that's coming up younger that's saying, okay, no, like this is how you treat people. This is how you be mature. I think we're maturing at a younger age.
I'm not going to be posting full body pictures or full nudes, you know, like, on my social media, because out of respect for my relationship. Like, there's some things that you also don't do, such as, he's not going to be taking a picture of his abs, like, for what, you know, unless we're at the beach. But there's just certain things that you don't do in your relationship to also help your trust in your relationship, to also kind of protect your relationship.
Things that I think we had to deal with, and still to an extent, like, is respecting each other, not about what you post, but about when to put social media down.
Right.
And I think, like, there are a lot of times where I'll post something or I'll come home and I'm on social media. I've been out all day. It's kind of my wind down time. I'm chilling before I maybe start work or do something else. And you know, for me, like, I just wasn't thinking about it. But for Trinity, I think, you know, or we're watching a movie and I'm on social media or something like that, and she really uses that time as our quality time, and I could be into the movie but just, you know, multitasking. But it's not the right appropriate time to do that. So I think it's also very important to know like what to do on social media, but also when to put it aside and say, hey, like this is our time. And I think like even in marriage or in relationships, I think you have to, like for us, I have to dedicate time. Like, okay, I'm putting my phone down. Like this is us time, or hey, movie time. Like now I don't pull my phone out when we watch movies or at night when we're hanging out. So, you know, I think it's important to state that, and I think that's important to know too.
If you spend so much time on social media that you're not nurturing your relationship, and that other person will feel that. And so I know for us, like, I had to let Trey know, hey, like, I love that you're on social media. I love that you're posting a lot. I love that you're playing, but babe, you gotta put the phone down because you gotta be here. And being there, like, with your significant other in that moment, not just being physically next to them, but mentally in the same mindset with them, will create that environment for your relationship to grow. And I think that's, like, one of our biggest strengths right now is recognizing that that's what you need. And that's what your partner needs. And so if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to this channel. And if you want to see anything, let us know in the comments below. And me and Trey will make sure we get that video out to you guys. Bye.